12:39 in the afternoon here. What time is it where you are, Jill?
It is 11:39. We haven't had lunch.
11. Ah, so you've got the women with fabulous glasses today, both of us all in one place. I'm going to introduce you to Jill any minute now, but I just hope you're sat down and you've made yourself a cup of tea and you can just join us for 20 minutes. I will download this afterwards so that you can see it in high res and you can comment and share. But this is basically being aired for Lifting the Lid Festival, which is this weekend. It's come around really quickly, and we want you to be there, and we want you to meet all these fabulous people. So here is Jean Greenbaum in the USA, and she's coming to us on Saturday the 15th, Greenwich Mean Time, 2:15 to 3:15 in the afternoon. And your time, which one is it, Jill?
I am Eastern Time in New York.
Eastern Time, New York, 9:15 a.m. to 10:15 a.m. New
Yes.
York. Oh, I've never been. I still haven't been. It's
You
really
must
rubbish.
come. We'll get
I
together.
will. I'll turn up on your doorstep. Be careful what you wish for. So let's tell you a bit more about Jill and what Jill's doing. I'm going to read because I've got everything here. I might as well just read it because it
Okay.
says everything. So the session title that you're looking for is Plan for Your Death and See Your Life with New Eyes. And in this session, so in our session, I will lightly guide you to imagine your final months, weeks, and days, your dying and your death. And this process will support you in planning your end of life experiences. This is obviously Jill speaking, not me. So she will be taking you in this process to support you in planning your end of life experiences, and she will teach you how to draw just a bit, and she's aware that many of you will be saying, I can't do that, I don't know how to do that. And she's like, yes, you can do it, and you will. So she'll be using some prompts to begin the journey and create a zine or a one-panel story. And this adventure will be of your own design, just like your life, hopefully. And you will have the opportunity to engage with a variety of questions, methods, and materials that will inspire, stimulate, surprise, and perhaps challenge you. Okay, so that's the session. And now I'm going to embarrass Jill by reading out her bio. Ready? Ready for the moment? I don't know. We're not good at this in the UK, but maybe you'd be better at it. Dr. Jill Greenbaum is a chaplain, an appreciative inquiry facilitator and coach, visual storyteller and story catcher, end of life death literacy advocate, grief coach, and self care specialist. In the summer of 2025, Jill received her certificate in art assisted grief therapy through the
Yeah.
Portland Institute for Loss and Transition. She is a graduate of the Upaya Zen Center's Buddhist Chaplaincy Training Program, the Art of Dying's the Art of Dying Institute's Integrative Thanatology program, that's new for me, that word, and the Bartle Foundation's Trauma Informed Practice for Teaching
Hmm.
Artists curriculum. It's not over. Jill's workshops combine her deep empathy, knowledge, and skills with powerful frameworks that help participants face and work with end of life realities with clarity and courage. And she creates safe, inviting spaces to explore meaning, legacy, and the practical steps required to live fully and prepare skillfully for our someday, one day deaths. So, I mean, if anybody ever needed any persuading to come to this festival, this is the caliber of person that we're dealing with. We have this amazing person with this history and all these skills and all this wisdom and all this knowledge. And she wants to beam into your living room and make your life better. So I just think, come meet Jill. That's really why I want you to come, because the people that come to us every year are astonishing and you won't get a chance to bump into them at the bus stop. This is really, really amazing. So
So
thanks
true.
for joining us, Jill. Do you want to say a little bit to everybody, say hello, and then just say a little bit about yourself in your own words?
Certainly, although Jess, maybe people have heard enough about me, but I do want to say hello to everyone. It's a delight to be here. I am so looking forward to Saturday morning. I love this workshop. Of course, I will say I love all the workshops that I'm able to pull together because, in spite of just talking about my wisdom and my history, I really see my job as an educator. I am an educator at heart. And as an educator, I ask a lot of questions. I don't provide a lot of answers. And so that's what this session is about. It's about hearing some prompts, deciding if they're the right prompts for you, And if they are, go with them and create something, and we'll do that together, or take it in a different direction. So this is a really a choose your own adventure type of experience with a grounding and a foundation.
Have you done lots of online workshops like this before, or do you normally work with people in real life?
I do a lot of both because I have been an educator for a long time and pre-pandemic taught people to be online and in that world. So I'm super comfortable with it. And what I love about it is the ability to reach people around the world. And that's also what I love about this festival is that I'm so excited. I said a friend wanted to go out to listen to cabaret music. And I was like, I'm sorry, I'm at this festival for like 72 hours and I don't want to miss it because I don't know if, everyone's going to record their session. And I'm not sure that that went over too well with her, but that's the truth.
It's really making me laugh because every year I do that. I'm like, I'm not available that weekend in November. I'm not
Exactly.
available 14th to the 17th of November this year because why? Because Death Festival. I'll be in my pajamas talking about death for 3 solid days, 24
And
hours. That's it.
and
Get
loving
over it.
it. I mean, the things that I learned, the people that I meet, the connections, this will be my third festival. I presented last year also, and then the year before that was my first, and I just completely love it.
You too, and you'd see the same familiar faces every year, but then new ones
Mhm.
every year and new presenters every year. So let's say I'm coming to the festival this year and
Yes.
I'm going to go and see Dr. Jill Greenbelt because she looks awesome. Um, what will I come with me? What am I bringing to you, and what am I hoping to come away with?
What a good question. What I hope you're bringing with you to the festival and certainly to the session is an openness to dive into things that perhaps you haven't done before. So that means perhaps planning in a very literal sense for your final weeks, days, and perhaps minutes, right? And that gets into where do you want to be? Who do you want to be with? What's the environment like? Who don't you want to come visit you in those final moments of your precious time, as we might call it? So it's thinking about those things. And it's also, even before we get to that, we do, of course, some getting to know each other just a tiny bit in the time that we have, but it's learning to draw, to express yourself not only in words that come out of your mouth, but in words that might come out of your hand because you're writing some text, or you're learning to draw some icons. So I will teach some of these icons to folks and literally teach people how to draw figures and coffins and rooms in a home and just things that are relevant to what we're talking about and provide materials in advance that people can look at so they're like, oh my gosh, I got to look at this first. So I've created a packet so people come prepared with knowledge of our agenda, what we'll be working with, and also some ideas because I'm thinking people may want to make a zine, one of my favorite things. And so this was my prototype, and it says my wishes and plans. It's got my handwriting, which is illegible, quite frankly. Here, not how I teach, though. You'll be able to read it, but it's a
I
super
love your
simple zine.
handwriting. It's fascinating. You
It's
should
close
go
to
to one of those
hieroglyphics.
graphologists. Okay. You should go to a graphologist and find out what that means, Jill.
Absolutely. Oh my God. I'm not sure I could take it, Jess.
No,
Let's be
I'm
honest.
not sure I
She's
could. I'm just gonna
she's
have a
very
look at
secretive.
your I'm gonna have a look at your thing because you've said you put a package together. Does that mean people need to download it?
So they do. They don't have it yet. I will send it to Joe today. And so she will
Okay.
have it and it'll come up before the festival. And you don't have to have it in advance. So it's not like, oh my gosh, I have to have this. But I would suggest having some markers or some colored pencils and a piece of paper, right? Because I have an easy way of folding paper. So you don't have to get to the more complicated, although I left a link for a more complicated zine. But in this zine, I have questions for people. So this is going to be your title page if you choose to make a zine. And then there are prompts on every page if you choose to do them. And the first is, I want to be. So where do you want to be? Right? I mean, literally, where do you want to be? In your own home, at your cabin, those kinds of questions. I'd like the space to be is another question. So do you fancy a particular kind of music or scents in the room or flowers? Do you want to look out onto a garden or a meadow or the ocean? So literally thinking, where do I need to be? And I will say I run a death literacy group also. And we discussed this very topic this weekend. And one woman was saying, well, you know what? My bedroom is on the second floor and it looks out the window and I only see the sky, but I think I'll need to move downstairs. And that is actually where my partner died, in our home. And I think I'll need to move there too, because I get to look out at the garden. Right. So this is the kind of thing that we're doing. I'd enjoy being with. So who do I want to be there with me? Let's see. I imagine, and then I have a blank space, something would bring me comfort, peace, joy, and ease. So that's music, candles, those kinds of things. I'd like the blank to be. So what do I want the experience to be like for me? Do I want quiet? Do I want to create an environment for people also to be there? Do I want food to be there? I know I personally want a gatekeeper, someone that's going to ensure that the people that I want to spend my precious time with. I know, is that terrible, Jess? But
So you're going to
I want
have
to
a
be.
bouncer, is what you're saying.
I'm just going to make
on the door. If
Yes,
your
that
name's
would.
not down, you're not coming in.
If you're not on the list, sorry.
You're not on the list.
Is that
exclusive invitation only death? I love that.
But it's really something to think about when you're in, as Jennifer O'Brien talks about, that precious time of the final hours of your life. Who do you want to be with? And I feel that that's my time, and I want to choose, right?
There's so many people I don't want there, honestly. There are quite a lot of people I don't want visiting, if I really think about it.
Right. And so that also gets at, well, if I'm going to plan this, am I going to send out a sort of a letter of welcome to people that I want to be there? Right. So they know to come visit, and also give them some ideas and some grace around perhaps their nervousness about coming to visit me. And so, listen, leave your keys at the door, your phone and your shoes and that kind of thing. Come in and just sit with me. And, the kinds of things that I like are to be read to, or to tell stories to each other, or to listen to stories. So helping people know how to be in that space, because it is, it's a challenge for a lot of folks. At least here in the US, we don't talk about this kind of thing a lot. And I think if we can help people make the bridge between where they are and where they want to be to support us in our final, days and hours, that we should do that and plan for it in advance. And so let's see, I'd like to share. So those are maybe I want to share some thoughts with people. Maybe I've written letters, right? All right, Jess, I know where your mind is going. I know
You're just
where your mind
making
is
me
going.
laugh. You've got mischief in your face, and it's infectious. I'd love to know what's in those letters.
Well, I mean, I was hoping, it would be like lovely little somethings, or sharing a poem or something like that.
Yeah.
Just a legacy piece, and maybe there's a basket of those for the people that come to visit, because you have made the plan for them to be there. So it's really creating that experience for yourself in advance, so you have some of the details. I mean, as we talked about yesterday, a funeral takes us a lot of planning. A life celebration takes a lot of planning also. And certainly I think I would like a life celebration in advance to see people when I'm healthier, and
I'm
and
your
plan
woman
that
for
also.
that. You have to call me, because that's my thing.
Well,
so I will come to New York. Hopefully I'll come before that. But anyway, I want to be on that list. Put me in.
Okay. You're on the list. You are absolutely on the list. But
that's good news.
It's a lot to think about, and people sort of, I hear in my work, you may hear it also, well, I'm going to leave that to my family to figure out, and that kind of thing. And I'm just like, ooh, let's talk about that. Let's talk about the reality of that.
Do you find yourself approaching that topic with people in
absolutely
everyday life? Really?
Yes.
You go there.
I do. Yes, I do. Jess, I'm a typical New Yorker, man. I am on it. Like, we're talking about it. And you have a right to say no, though.
You're reinforcing all my stereotypes right now, and that's a good thing, actually.
I'm so sorry. But the other reality is, though, and certainly I say this in every single session when I'm running death literacy groups as a reminder, when you're asked a question, you have the right of refusal. Right? Just because I ask you something or someone else asks you something doesn't mean you need to answer it. You may not be in the mood. You may not be ready. There are any number of possibilities. And just because I'd like to know something, or I think it may help you, I could be completely wrong. And I'm not the one to make that decision.
Yeah, but that's lovely because then you're trusting people to know whether they can and can't do it. Otherwise, what we're doing is saying, "Oh, we can't talk about that because people will find it upsetting," which 9
Right.
times out of 10 they don't, but you haven't given them the permission to even have that. You haven't even given them the chance. So I think
Absolutely.
it's really lovely that you're doing that, actually. I'm really intrigued to know how you ended up here. What has brought you, Jill Greenbaum, to the point where you're doing that? I'd love to know.
That's long story short, a zillion years ago, I used to be the director of several rape crisis centers in New Jersey, one in a local county and then at the statewide level. And so I did a lot of crisis work. And I really loved and a lot of education for the public, right? Because much like death, hard to believe, but true, like people don't expect it's going to happen to them, right? People also don't expect to be or to know people that are survivors of sexual violence. And the reality is, when it happens to them, to a loved one, to a friend, they don't know where to look for services. They don't know what to do. And so there's so much education in that field and in this one, as we know. And so it felt like a really good fit for me. And I'm a teacher at heart. I used to be a teacher, principal, administrator, and all that good stuff. But I would say that I came to this also because I am a Sangha member at the New York Zen Center for Contemplative Care in New York City. And I came into it as a person interested in Zen Buddhism. People around me were chaplains. And I was like, I don't really know what that's about. And that's their stuff, and this is my stuff. And then I took the course at the center called Living Fearlessly, which was about facing your death and living life every day. And that's what started to get me thinking about, oh my gosh, I can use my skills as someone who draws, continuously. Everything I do involves drawing and the creation of zines and all those kinds of things, that I can take those skills and help people to communicate about their thoughts and their feelings in a different way, maybe access something different for them. And so I got together with about half a dozen women in North America. And since 2020, we have had a group where we come together and we create materials for people and processes for people to use. So we all volunteer our time, we get together, it's awesome. And I just kept going in that direction and then learned more about being a chaplain. I was like, oh man, this is so close to crisis counseling. I hope nobody's offended when I say that from any field. But that's how I got there. And I just completely love that piece of it. It feels, once again, like it's a calling to me. And so that's the direction in what I would probably say is the final chapter of my life. That's what I want to be doing. I want to go back there. I want to give people skills and opportunities and space.
How
Long
beautiful.
answer there. Sorry, Jess.
Not really. Not really. I mean, this is what happens. You've lived a long life.
Yeah.
There's a lot to say. You don't arrive somewhere overnight. And I do this all the time where I'm given 20 minutes to celebrate something. I'm a celebrant and I might have 20 minutes to celebrate 80 years. And I think if you broke it down, how many seconds would you be dedicating to each year? It's appalling.
Absolutely.
But I think, so yeah, it doesn't feel like a long answer to me, given the journey that you must have been on to arrive there. I can completely see how enormously consoling it would be to have you in the room and explaining, just saying it's okay to talk about this stuff. And they are really thought-provoking questions, aren't they? We've had a lot of conversations this week with people who are talking about not using words all the time. It's coming up all the time. What were you going to say, Jill? Just do carry on.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I was just going to pick up on something that you had said, which was talking about not using words to express or using them in combination with other things. And one of the things that my colleagues and I have developed is a process for interviewing people about what they want this to look like. Maybe they don't want to draw it themselves, but they'd like someone to listen to them. And when I work with someone one-to-one and I ask them and interview them, the kinds of questions we'll be talking about in the session for lifting the lid, and I draw it, they have an artifact that they take with them and they can use for better communication with their family members to start those challenging conversations. What I hear, though, is not only are they happy to have that, they feel listened to for the amount of time that we've had together in a way that other people haven't listened to them before. And I think that's an absolutely critical piece. And it's something that we forget in this, quite frankly, at this point, fast-paced and in the US, very chaotic world that we're living in right now. And so I think it's that piece. And I would say I moved towards art-assisted grief therapy because I found it so powerful to create collage, to create things, to destroy things, to work on what I'm feeling without having to say it out loud. I think that's another piece.
Yeah, not having to say it out loud can make the difference between something being held in the body and being released from the body.
Mhm.
There's a kind of assumption that one has to say a thing, but actually you can say it in so many ways. I'm really
Absolutely.
so passionate about listening myself. I just think it's one of the most healing acts that we can do for each other. I really think that. And it sounds like you're listening on every level. You're not just listening to words, you're listening to everything and the
Right.
creativity of that. I have a question for you, which I think is quite fun. What is the weirdest place anyone's what's the weirdest place anyone's ever come up with for where they want to die? The funniest or the oddest, most surprising?
I have to say that I haven't had odd or funny places. I mean, I would say the most um, interesting to me was one of the group members talking about needing to move down into the room where her partner had passed, and saying that aloud in a group, knowing that she wouldn't have the time to put it out there in the group, and then knowing that she didn't have the time or the space to explore it there, which might have been perfect, right? Because it might have been the safest way to approach it at that time. But okay. Okay, so I am the only one here at this moment, and we are live. I imagine that Jess will be back shortly. So let me write her a quick note. All right, so there's a quick email to Jess. And so I'm guessing I should leave, so I will do that now. Okay. Well, I will leave for now, and hopefully we'll pick this up again.
Hi everyone. Something happened with my internet and we just got to get the lovely Jill back in. And then we can tell you a bit more about where you can find more about her. I mean, she's so fabulous. Okay, so let me read out for you a little bit while she comes back in, a little bit more about her socials and stuff. So I'll read to you a little bit about some of the things that she offers as well, outside of lifting the lid, because I've got some information about that. So that might be quite good to share with you while I'm here. Bear with me while I have a quick sip of water. I seem to be live again. I don't know what happened. So experience the alchemy of nature, ritual, and creativity. So this is Jill's, another thing that Jill does. So she's just written, join me to create ephemeral earth altars that honor the thoughts and feelings that are on your mind and in your heart. In this workshop, we become grounded, present, and reconnected to ourselves through working with the beauty of nature, ritual, and creativity. Our time together will be compromised. No, it won't be. It won't be compromised, will it? It will be, what will it be? Comprised of? It will be comprised of. Here she is. Hi, Jill. Can you hear me? Any good?
I can.
Yes. Oh,
Yes.
okay. Well, let's pretend nothing happened. So I'm just reading out about your experience. This is how it's done. Experiencing the alchemy of nature, ritual, and creativity that we
yes, I was going to mention
that you're doing. Yeah. So I didn't want to miss out on that. So I'm really sorry. Whatever happened. So,
No worries.
so she's saying our time together will be, and I said our time together will be compromised by 4 elements. What you mean is our time together will be comprised of 4 elements. Learning a process for meaning making with nature. I know. I don't know what's going on. I need to have a rest. So learning meaning making with nature, engaging with a personally resonant intention, creating a memorial or altar, and harvesting the experience reflecting upon our learning. And we can work with being inside a home due to a rainy or snowy day. Is that my cat? Is that my cat?
It is your
Oh,
cat.
Seymour. Honestly.
Seymour.
What do you want? Seymour. He might join us.
Lovely.
We can work with being inside a home due to a rainy or a snowy day, or a full schedule that does not permit a bit of foraging in the backyard or a nearby park. So you can reach out to Jill with your questions. A week before the session, she'll send a file with details of the experience, and it's a unique experience being offered to Lifting the Lid participants at a discount of 30%. Please register for the time that is the best fit or where your feet touch the earth, which is rare. Saturday, December the 6th, 2025, for those in the Western Hemisphere, and there's a link, and that would be in the program. And then Friday, December the 5th, for those in the Eastern Hemisphere. Spaces are limited, so please email your Lifting the Lid ticket confirmation from Ticket Tailor to jill@jillgreenbaum.com to claim your discount. So that we need to do. And I'm going to quickly tell people about your, before we go back to that, I'm just going to tell people where they can find you on the socials. My friend said to me, Jess, you can't call it social media anymore. That's just really old-fashioned. you have to call it socials. It's like, oh yeah, socials. So that's why I'm saying that. So you're on the interweb at www.jillgreenbaum, and I'm going to spell it for people. It's Jill with a J, ILL, green, color green, Baum, BAUM.com, jillgreenbaum.com. That's her. Instagram.com / Jill IG. Jill IG. Jillig. Jillig. Facebook, Jill.Greenbaum. LinkedIn, Jill R. Greenbaum. And Twitter, Jill Greenbaum. There's a lot of Jill Greenbaums. Basically, you'll find her, I feel. Yeah. So that's that. So tell us a little bit more about the altars, because that sounds very, very, very amazing, actually. I would come forage with you if I had the chance.
How fabulous. And you can also forage by yourself or with a friend in terms of coming to the session. So it is, as we were talking about before, a way to express your thoughts and feelings, perhaps without words. And so during the session, I will offer several prompts that people may choose from, or they may have an idea on their own. And the prompts will be offered after we learn a process, like what does this entail? And and so I'll briefly explain 7 different steps that are part of the morning altars process. I'll say where we're going to focus and the amount of time that we have, and then people will be offered the prompts that might have to do. I have several different ones, one more around grief and loss, another around dying and death, another around personal transformation and where are you? And once again, you can choose your own. You'll then go out into nature, or perhaps into your kitchen in the spice cupboard or some other area, your art studio, and you will gather up things that literally speak to you, that are beautiful, that might be used in some way. And then you will have seen a number of examples of different earth altars. And Joe put together an amazing reel that showed a number of examples of earth altars, and you will create your own based on this prompt. And then we'll come back together as a large group. And depending on the size of the group, we may talk as a large group, or you might be paired with another person to just talk about the experience, not so much what you did unless you want to, the specifics of it, but what was it like to engage in this, and how are you feeling now? And might you use this in the future on your own? Because it is the kind of thing you can learn and then do on your own. And it can be hard to know what these things look like unless you've seen pictures. So certainly on my Instagram page, there are pictures, and Joe has done a beautiful job. And so they are easily found.
I think that's right. I think it'd be really helpful to have a look, and then you'll get a sense of it. And it's nice to have an option. We were talking earlier with Alexis about how it's nice to have a non-verbal option, or something that isn't just a talking therapy, something that you're doing with other people.
Right.
So that sounds really, really nice. Let's revisit quickly where you are and what times, because I really want people to find you. So Saturday
Absolutely.
the 15th, this Saturday,
yes.
Greenwich Mean Time, 2:15 to 3:15 in the afternoon, and then Eastern Standard Time,
exactly
9:15 to 10:15. There you go. I'm getting good. And then what you're looking for, people, is this session that's called Plan for Your Death and See Your Life with New Eyes. And that is Dr. Jill Greenbaum, and she's very, very cool, and we love her a lot.
Thank you, Jess.
Is there anything else you wanted to say? I will happily sell you. Get the chance.
Thank you. Perhaps just one idea that we touched upon before we began, which was, or at the very, very beginning, which was that this planning is a process. It is filled with peaks and valleys. It is filled with wonderful, heart-opening memories. It can also be filled with some challenges. Always good to have a buddy or someone you can connect with. And yet at the end of it, you feel in a different place about your life, in that you have started to handle this. That may change a little bit over time, but you've thought it through. And now it's no longer in the back of your head. It is, I can approach each day with joy because I have a plan that includes me and the ones I care for. I've planned for all of us around this experience. People will be able to focus on their grief and loss, as opposed to having to make decisions and not knowing what to do about my final wishes. So it's about bringing peace of mind also.
And it's not immediately obvious that
Yes.
talking about your own death might bring you peace of mind. And I
Right.
think that's a really important message. So if you're out there and you're a little bit anxious about it, or you think, oh, it feels a bit difficult, a bit hard, yes, it is, but it's also in the long run a lot better. So
Mhm.
definitely come. Yeah, I must go, and I suppose I should do something other than speak to fabulous people all over the world, but I don't want to, but I might have to. To go and cook or something really mundane like that. But thanks so much for joining me, Jill. It's really lovely to meet you.
It's been a complete pleasure, Jess. Thank you so much for this opportunity.
No, you're really welcome. And I will just stop the recording now and say goodbye to everyone, and then we can say goodbye to each other. Bye,